Everyone who saw the seed died. But I swallowed it whole. It nurtured for a full 18 years. It was only because my father told me before he passed away. Waiting for the seeds to sprout inside the body. It can transform me completely. But before the seeds sprout, I can't open my mouth. Once you speak, it would attract heavenly thunder to wrath. For 18 years, everyone thought I was mute. And tomorrow will be the last day. But on this very day, my fiancé Jiang Luoxi picked up a large knife, resting it on his own neck. I would rather die. Nor did she marry Lingchen. His father was also troubled by this. Her gaze unconsciously glanced at me. A boy with an exceptionally good appearance. Unfortunately, he was mute. And a useless person without a spiritual root. And his daughter. He was a world-shaking prodigy with a 6th grade spiritual root. He's been accepted as a true disciple by the elders of Xianxia sect. They're simply not from the same world. The husband truly cannot proceed. Let Ruxue marry in place of Luoxi. This statement came out. The Jiang family members all turned their gazes sharply toward Jiang Ruxue, a young girl in green robes. Her figure was graceful and elegant. She was much prettier than her younger sister, Jiang Luoxi. Unfortunately, she was born to a concubine. Her status in the Jiang family was far below Jiang Luoxi's. Father, I still want to stay by your side and serve you. Please don't marry me off. The girl bit her red lips tightly. Helpless, please. Xianxia gritted her teeth. He bent his knees. Do you really want me to kneel and beg you, Dad? Don't be like that. Isn't it enough for me to marry? I want to marry? The moment he agreed, his eyes were full of grievance. Jiang straightened up. Lin Chun smiled with relief. What do you think? I sat calmly in the corner. He leisurely sipped his tea. The Jiang family never intended to marry Jiang Luoxi to me. Instead, he had long planned to make Jiang Ruxue the scapegoat. I picked up the paper and pen I carried with me. Write a note. Uncle, you need not be so troubled. The Jiang family took care of me for 10 years. The engagement is called off today. I had planned to break off the engagement. Since 10 years ago, my father saved the old master of the Jiang family. I will then reside in the Jiang residence. 3 years ago, my father passed away. The entire Jiang family gradually distanced themselves from me. Now it's time for me to leave too. Jiang finished reading the note. Secretly excited. He had wanted to drive me away for a long time. But Lu Yingshuang was righteous and wanted me to stay. I naturally guessed what he was thinking. He wanted to level things up for his daughter. He threatened to marry me. It would ruin her lifelong happiness. I said nothing. He looked at Jiang Ruxue, who was silently shedding tears. He sighed helplessly. I knew that even if I saved her today, but the future may only be worse. Jiang Ruxue is the only one who treats me kindly. The year my father passed away, I was overwhelmed with grief. A serious illness. The Jiang family acted as if they hadn't seen anything. It was Jiang Ruxue who took meticulous care of me. I really couldn't bear it. So he had no choice but to agree. Only then did Lu Yingshuang smile. She can't wait for us to get married. Jiang Ruxue wiped away her tears. She came up to me with swollen red eyes. Follow me. I happen to have something to say to you too. I followed Jiang Ruxue to her boudoir. Her boudoir was very simple. Jiang Ruxue walked over to the dressing table. Opened the drawer of the vanity mirror. He pulled a small pocket from the corner. Inside were various small pieces of silver. The little mute shouldn't have agreed. They don't truly want you to marry me. He just didn't want to be branded as ungrateful. Once my sister joins Xianxia sect, they will mistreat you, trying all sorts of ways to drive you away. He left the Jiang residence with this money. I don't want you to live like I do. I wrote a note. This is my home. No matter how bad they are to me, I can't leave either. As they spoke, her voice was tinged with tears. Drops of crystal sparkled in her eyes. I stepped forward. She patted his head. From now on, you should call me husband. Jiang Ruxue suddenly looked up. Her snowy eyes widened. You spoke. You are not mute. Did I ever say I was mute? You've been faking all along. Why pretend to be mute? I put my hands behind my back. Silently, I gazed out the window. At this moment, the clear sky rang out twice in succession. Frightened, everyone in the Jiang residence rushed out to look around. Jiang Ruxue was also startled by the sudden thunder. My expression was grave. Not uttering a single word. Just now, I spoke and let my breath slip. This provoked the wrath of the heavenly thunder. Jiang Ruxue saw me. A trace of sadness appeared on his face. All right. I won't ask anymore. Pack your things and go quickly. If Lu Yingshuang knew you had been pretending to be mute all along, they're going to be paranoid. I'm not leaving, staying to marry you. From now on, protect you. Stop boasting. Your spiritual root isn't even as good as mine. I smiled without saying a word. He quietly watched her. Not the slightest wavering. Jiang Ruxue looked at my calm and determined gaze. A warm current surged through his heart. She hesitated for a moment. He shoved the money pouch into my hand again. Her cheeks flushed with a hint of embarrassment. Take it and treat it as a betrothal gift to marry me. A feeling welled up in my heart that I couldn't quite describe. Never imagined there would be a day. There will be a girl holding her life savings. Let me marry her as a betrothal gift. She reached out and gently straightened my clothes. What are you standing there for? Uncle Lin lived a life of poverty. I didn't leave you any gold or silver. I hope these savings can help you. I couldn't hold back anymore. He wrapped his arms around her slender waist. He pulled her into his arms. Ruxue's face flushed bright red with embarrassment. His body stiffened and motionless. Let me just hold you like that. It took her a long time to react. Panicking, I broke free. I'm going to get clothes measured. Watching her retreating figure, I put the money pouch back on the table. It will be like snow. I will marry you in style. At the same time, inside Lu Yingshuang's bedroom. Annie, how could you marry your cousin to Lin Chen? This useless person. Please withdraw your order. Cousin, marry me. Lu Zheng is Lu Yingshuang's nephew. A genius with a third-grade spiritual root. Lu Yingshuang has held him since childhood. Received cultivation at the Jiang residence. He was also quite capable. At just 20 years old, he already had the 5th level of qi refining cultivation. Let Lu Yingshuang be in front of her own family. He really embarrassed himself. The only thing that gave Lu Yingshuang a headache was Lu Zheng liked Jiang Ruxue very much. Zheng'er has other aspects. Auntie can accommodate you. But this is the only matter. No reckless behavior allowed. But seeing Lu Zheng's face full of grief and anger, in the end, he softened his heart. Meaningfully, you think. If he died unexpectedly in the early morning. I understand, thank you, Annie. Nephew will go help arrange the wedding right away. Let them get married as soon as possible. Ku had just stepped out the door. The smile on her face gradually faded, revealing a hint of malice. In the early morning, in a simple room in the west courtyard of the Jiang residence, I paced back and forth. I waited 18 years for this day. I thought I had a lot of self-control, able to calmly welcome the seed to sprout. But they really thought that day had come. Yet I did not sleep all night. His heart was filled with anxiety. At this moment, a dazzling ray of light pierced through the clouds and shot into the house. Almost at the same moment, the hard shell of the seed inside me cracked open. I quickly sat cross-legged. Hold your breath and focus your mind. Within the sea of stones, I saw a tender sprout breaking through the soil. His present world. It was as if some supreme existence had been alarmed. Thunderbolts capable of destroying heaven and earth descended, intending to press him back underground. But the tender buds slowly unfolded. He casually absorbed all the incoming thunder. I watched helplessly as that seed swallowed the sky, feeding on thunder and lightning. It grew into a towering giant tree with no end in sight. Thunder knew he was powerless to stop it. Gradually came to a halt. This ancient Taishu tree was scattered with streaks of green mottled light, blending into my body. A spiritual root was nurtured in Bantian. Spiritual roots, I have them now. After 18 years of waiting, the complete transformation has finally arrived. After a long while, I calmed myself down. He carefully examined this spiritual root, but he couldn't help but freeze. The transparent color of my spiritual root is actually transparent. There is no color at all. Jiang Luoxi's spiritual root is deep blue. Represents the legend of the 6th rank. The highest is the white spiritual root, representing the 9th rank. But transparent spiritual roots had never been heard of. Looks like I'll have to go to the detection tower to confirm. At this moment, I suddenly realized, on the lush Taishu divine tree, hanging from huge, transparent fruits, hanging in the lowest fruit, it actually contained a secret of a cultivation technique. Advanced heart technique dragon seeking mirror. I was startled. As an established force in Lucian City, the Jiang family, the clan cultivation technique is just a mid-level astragalus sword technique. I tried to jump up and pick the fruit, but an invisible force pressed me back to the ground. A thread of information surfaced in his mind. The lowest layer of fruit is exhausted. Only then can it be picked. Soon, the dark world before them gradually faded away. Returning to that humble room, I didn't delay at all. Leaving the Jiang residence. Arriving at the detection tower. This is still premature. The inspection tower had not yet opened. Many teenagers were already waiting in front of the tower preparing for testing. A young girl. Zhener tested again today. Don't be nervous. The tower master said you were nervous last time. This led to test results falling below normal levels. Lu Zheng nodded firmly. The Jiang family's resources are limited. Most of it was supplied to Jiang Luoxi. The rest are distributed according to talent. He was a step below the others. The resources he enjoys are far from the last. So this time, the retest was held. He must measure the true level. If you test for 3rd grade superior quality. Auntie tried every possible way to persuade the Jiang family members. Make an exception and let you practice the Jiang family sword technique. The journey was filled with excitement. Jiang family swordsmanship. Yellow grade mid-level technique. Lu Xianxia was one of the top-ranked powerful techniques. Only core members of the Jiang family could access it. He had been at the mercy of others in the Jiang family for 10 years. Finally, I can touch the most essential things. Amidst the excitement, out of the corner of his eye, he caught sight of a familiar figure, and could not help but be astonished. Why are you here at dawn? I calmly wrote a note. Just like you. Before their strength reached a certain level, I still planned to keep pretending to be mute, to avoid arousing suspicion. Lu Zheng shook his head. His gaze was full of disdain. Before that, I've tested many times. Every time, the result was no spiritual root. He patted me on the shoulder. Spiritual roots are innate. If there is, then if not, then no. What's wrong with living a mortal life? Why chase after what you can't have? At that moment, the door opened. A lazy old man stepped out from among them. The usual rules. Those with excellent testing qualifications will receive cultivation method rewards. Everyone looked indifferent. Within several decades, only Jiang Ruxue received the reward. The tower master gave the order. Everyone entered the testing room at the same time. Closed behind a stone gate. I looked toward a floating crystal ruler in the center of the chamber. I took a deep breath. He arrived at the crystal ruler. He placed his palm on it. The next moment, the crystal ruler trembled slightly. A ripple slowly rose from the bottom. Ascend to the red scale. Then it rises to the orange scale without hesitation. My anxious heart eased slightly. Soon, the ripples reached the yellow scale. Then, with a swift momentum, it reached the green mark. Then it shot straight up to the top black marking. My heart was in my throat. I couldn't help but feel parched and thirsty. 8 items have already broken the highest record in Pop City. But the testing is not yet complete. The ripples rose all at once to the highest scale. White, my pupils contracted dramatically. His eyes filled with uncontrollable ecstasy. Grade 9 spiritual root. The legendary level. Yet the ripples did not stop. The tip of the crystal ruler was a large blank space. No scale at all. Ripples are still rising. Finally, he rushed out of the ruler, flying out of the secret chamber. I was completely confused. What kind of spiritual root is this, anyway? Almost at the very moment the ripples burst forth. Next door, Lu Zheng was staring at his crystal ruler. The ripple finally settled at 3rd grade. Critical points for medium and upper grade levels. His face turned ashen. Hurry up and raise it for me, bastard. Lu Zhen pounded the crystal pool hard. A furious roar. He thought it was third rank. Top 10 prizes. The result of Jiuzhen was surprisingly a hair's breadth of distance. At this moment, ripples bursting out of my chamber swept past his. The powerful impact pulled Lu Zhen along. The ripples in the crystal pool instantly rose again. It was frozen on the white scale. The tower master lay on a bamboo and rattan chair, holding a pen in one hand, holding the register in one hand. Inside Lu Zheng's secret chamber, a beam of white light shot out from the crack in the door. The tower master rubbed his eyes. His face showed confusion. Clang. He suddenly stood up. The leaking aura sent the rattan chair flying several zhang. His old face was filled with utter shock. A 9th grade spiritual root has manifested. The words fell. The white light illuminated the entire detection tower, bathing it in pure white. It transformed into a beam of light and shot up into the sky, piercing through the clouds in the sky. Jiang Luoxi finished meditating. Spiritual energy surrounds him. His eyes were bright and spirited. Xianxia, standing to the side, looked proud. Luoxi, you've broken through to the 9th level of qi refining. At such an age. This is unprecedented in our Guizhou city. After all, it was a 6th grade spiritual root. It's no surprise that his cultivation is so fast. Once I go to Qingyan sect, obtain a mid-level or even advanced yellow grade heart technique, cultivation will be faster. Out of the corner of his eye, Modi caught sight of a white beam of light. He couldn't help but be surprised. Dad, what is this? It appears in the detection tower. Could it be that a peerless spiritual root has manifested in the world? I've heard you say it too. Years ago, next door was Biyun City. A peerless prodigy with an 8th grade spiritual root appeared. When testing spiritual roots, a black beam of light shot into the clouds. It was exactly the same as before my eyes. Jiang Luoxi stared at the beam of light in disbelief. Unconsciously, she bit her red lips tightly. As proud as he is. Unacceptable. In Guizhou City, someone with a spiritual root far surpasses his own. Watching the light gradually fade, he gritted his silver teeth. Throw away the sword. Rushing toward the detection tower. I want to see who he really is. Jiang Ruxue worried he might act impulsively. At the same time, they were extremely curious. He quickened his pace and chased after him. The entire lonely boat city was affected by the reality of the white beam. Messing up a pot of porridge. Countless dances. The detector tower surged madly. Witness a spectacle that appears once every few hundred years. Some of them have even gone years without public appearances. The rumored old clan leader, who had died, also broke through the barrier. Everyone eagerly witnessed the true face of this Han Dynasty prodigy. The dancers on the side rushed out one after another, arriving at Lu Zheng's stone gate. Utterly shocked. Myth, I have witnessed a myth. To witness the legendary 9th grade spiritual root in one's lifetime. He said, does a 9th rank one necessarily mean the strongest? Of course, 9th rank is the strongest. Legend has it that there is a kind of spiritual root that surpasses the 9th grade. His name is Wuji's spiritual root. Legend has it that he is invisible and formless. It is transparent. Stronger than 9th grade at least 10 or 100 times. This spiritual root exists only in mythology. Reality simply doesn't exist. I'm in the secret room next door. Naturally, they sense this commotion. No way, Lu Zheng has a 9th grade spiritual root. I looked surprised. If he had such talent, why did he take 10 years of resources from the Jiang family? It wasn't even as good as Jiang Ruoxi's 6th rank. Just as I was pondering, his crystal ruler reacted again. A ball of blue, hazy light flew out from the ruler. Landed right in front of me. The radiance faded away. It turned out to be 2 cultivation techniques. A yellow-grade advanced heart technique called the Qingfeng True Scripture. Another was called the 7-Star Sword technique, a high-level yellow-grade cultivation method. I was shocked. But whatever the reason, with 2 cultivation techniques and this transparent spirit, I will make a leap forward in the shortest possible time. And carefully considered the methods of cultivation. The stone gate was opened. The loud sound of the door opening drew the attention of countless onlookers. So it was Lin Shen. That gave me a scare. He thought it was Lu Zheng coming out. I thought Lu Zheng had come out. It seems that Lingchen's test this time didn't have any spiritual roots again. I frowned. But on closer thought. So why secretly cultivate 2 advanced yellow-grade techniques? Quietly improving one's strength is the true way. I am now without support. Let people know the underlying cause. Instead, it can easily cause big trouble. So I replied with a calm smile. Lingchen, you're here too. What's going on? Jiang Luoxi and Jiang Ruxue rushed over. My expression was calm. Write down the note. Lu Zheng had detected a 9th-grade spiritual root.
Impossible, impossible.
The strong-willed man couldn't withstand the blow.
Tears fell.
I sighed silently. I casually wrote a comforting note and focused on cultivation. Waiting for the future. Jiang Luoxi glanced over. But I felt this was my sarcasm toward him. Seeing me cry makes you happy, huh? I'm speechless, but you're upset. Why are you looking for me to die? At this moment, the tower master also noticed Jiang Ruxue's arrival. He ran over at full speed. A warm smile forced onto his face. Congratulations, brother. Jiang Ruxue was overwhelmed with honor. Next, the strongest in Huzhou City. City Lord Yi Jifeng also cupped his fists and approached the Jiang family head. This is truly a cause for celebration. The Jiang residence has produced a true dragon. Looking at Yi Jifeng's face, which forced a smile, Jiang Ruxue felt even more like he was dreaming. Once upon a time, he brought a heavy gift to Yi Jifeng but was turned away. Now the other party took the initiative to show goodwill. A reclusive old monster. They also warmly approached to chat. Jiang Ruxue was dazed for a long time. Only then did he calm his mind. He understood that all of this belonged to Lu Zheng. He understood that all of this was thanks to Lu Zhen. Lu Yingshuang walked over proudly. At first, I forcefully opposed the opinions of the people. When he brought Jinner to the Jiang family for cultivation. What did you say? Jiang Ruxue looked utterly ashamed. At first he strongly opposed it. Blocked by Lu Yingshuang's threat of death. Only then did he reluctantly agree. I have eyes but no beads. Thanks to his wife, this lucky star. That's how our Jiang family managed to cling to Zheng. This is a peerless powerhouse from the future. Willows reflect frosty beauty, radiating a radiant face. Soon after, amid great anticipation, Lu Zheng finally opened the stone gate. He walked out confidently. He walked up to Jiang Ruxue, kneeling on one knee. Thank you, Aunt and Uncle Jiang, for raising me over the years. Zheng lived up to expectations. Detected a 9th-grade spiritual root. Jiang Ruxue didn't dare to be arrogant. Hurry and help him up. No way. Zheng, you're the 9th-rank prodigy uncle. How could I possibly deserve your kneeling? Lu Zheng felt more exhilarating than ever before. Suddenly, his peripheral vision swept over me. Everyone submitted to the aura of his 9th-grade spiritual root. Only I have my hands folded in my sleeves, still calm and composed. At dawn, you refused to accept it. He demanded with resolute force. I turned my head to look. With a blank expression, he casually wrote, Pft. Ridiculous, a useless person with no spiritual roots. What right do you have to be so aloof before me? He turned to face Jiang Ruxue. He bowed deeply and bowed once. Uncle Jiang, I have a favor to ask. I grew up with Ruxue and my sister. Please marry me off to Ruxue, uncle. The river faces the cliffs and is difficult. He had already betrothed Ruxue to me. Should we change our tune and let him go? He had already betrothed Ruxue to me. Should we change our tune and let her? Remarrying my uncle. If I shout that I want to get married. I believe many families here are willing to marry into me. At that time, I was already someone else's son-in-law. Lu Zheng clasped his hands behind his back.
Pretending not to care, he said.
Jiang Ruxue's face changed dramatically. Just as he was about to make a decision. I raised my brush and read. Uncle Jiang would give it to him or not. Ruxue happiness relies on strength. Not for talk, I'm willing to compete with Lu Zheng. Jiang Ruxue took a look. His heart instantly relaxed. He quickly looked at Lu Zhen.
Jenner, what do you think?
A useless person daring to challenge a 9th-grade spiritual root. Here's a chance. Even if you lose, you can also brag about it for a lifetime. Jiang Ruxue finally breathed a sigh of relief. I'll give you 3 days. Who breaks through a whole level? Whoever is qualified is the one who deserves it. What about Jiang Ruxue? I immediately raised my brush and waved my brush. Lu Zheng could smile confidently. A level. Uncle, you underestimated my 9th grade spiritual root. 3 days from now, we will be watching closely.
An elderly man dressed in splendid attire.
Emerging from among a group of big shots. Young Master Lu is below. Everyone present was deeply moved. Qin Chongsheng. He is the head of the #1 alchemy family in Guizhou City. Relying on the ancestral artifact forging recipe, it monopolized the forging business in all surrounding cities. Qin Chongsheng smiled. Holding a brocade box. Inside, 10 small jade bottles are neatly arranged. The Qin family congratulated young Master Lu on discovering a 9th grade spiritual root. These 10 bottles of refining liquid come with a 9th grade spiritual root. These 10 bottles of refining liquid are for young Master Lu. Hoping to win the beauty home in 3 days. I narrowed my eyes slightly. The Qin family was clearly siding with Lu Zheng. It seemed she sensed my gaze. Qin Chongsheng not only refused to restrain himself. Instead, he disagreed. Also, all the shops of my Qin family. Starting today, the sale of forging artifacts in the early morning is prohibited. My gaze turned cold. He raised his brush and waved his brush. I hope you won't regret it. Qin Chongsheng teased. Regret, regret. Give up on you, you useless fool. She clung to young Master Lu's leg. I am deeply meaningful. She glanced at him. Silently departing. On the way back, an elder of the family following Qin Chongsheng looked hesitant. Why was the family head so aggressive just now? Suppressing a junior. The reason was, 10 years ago, a mysterious soul master suddenly emerged. The mid-grade refining liquid he had refined. It nearly destroyed the Qin family's century-old legacy. Qin Chongsheng said meaningfully. Do you remember when Lu Zheng arrived in Lone Boat City? The elder thought carefully. He exclaimed in shock. Head of the family 10 years ago. You mean? I closed the door immediately after I got back. Clench your fists tightly. Lu Zheng, I don't believe it. I'm not as good as you. Opening the Pure Breeze manual. Read carefully. Perhaps it was baptized by the ancient Taishu tree. Because of the body. I understood it all naturally. An hour later, I sit cross-legged and practice meditation. Silently chanting the mantra. The transparent spiritual root within his body. Like a vast root rooted in the void. Silently chanting the mantra. The transparent spiritual root within his body. Like a massive root rooted in the void. Slowly drawing in the spiritual energy from the air.
Soon.
Strands of spiritual energy gathered from all directions. Transforming into strands of pure spiritual power. I tirelessly cultivate. He kept refining until dawn. A ray of sunlight shook me awake. Su slowly opened his eyes. Jumping off the bed with anticipation. Circulating the dantian. He raised his breath and swung his fists. A faint pop of compressed air. Falling into my ear. Qi refining stage 2. Overnight. Luoxi broke through to the first level of Qi refining at the second level. It took a full 3 days. But I am not arrogant or complacent. But the second level of Qi refining wasn't enough. I tried to continue cultivating. But he found that the speed at which he absorbed spiritual energy had slowed considerably. The Qi refining realm advanced further back. Then the refining liquid must be used together. Suddenly, before his father passed away, let me carry the box he's carried with him for 10 years. And buried it in front of the grave. Princess seeds must be dug up before they sprout. Since my father was able to leave such miraculous seeds, the mysterious box must contain something extraordinary as well. I got up and opened the door. But then he heard Jiang Ruxue's pleading voice from the neighboring courtyard. Aunt Lu, this is a resource sent to me by the clan this month. Please don't take it away. Lu Yingshuang brought along 2 personal maids. Cornering Jiang Ruxue against the wall. The maid held down her hands. Lu Yingshuang pulled out a bottle of Qi refining liquid from her arms. His expression turned slightly cold. Don't think I don't know. You want to give it to Lin Shen, that useless guy. You want him to win. Heh, dreaming. Lu Yingshuang slammed the Qi refining liquid hard onto the ground. Precious spiritual liquid spilled all over the ground. Mixed with the soil. Jiang Ruxue broke free from the tension. He also slammed hard to the ground. Precious spiritual liquid spilled all over the ground, mixed with the soil. Jiang Ruxue broke free from the maid. He fell to the ground. He wanted to grab some of the soil soaked with spiritual liquid to persuade him to stay. Usually gentle, she was so angry that tears welled up in her eyes. Xiaofan was already feeling sorry for him. Why are you bullying her like this? Even a bottle of qi refining liquid is in such a difficult position. Lu Yingshuang clapped her hands dismissively. The qi refining liquid belongs to our Jiang family. If he has backbone, he can take it himself. He twisted his waist. He left contentedly. Jiang Ruxue was helpless. Squatting on the ground. Hugging her knees and sobbing, she blamed herself. At that moment, I came up behind him. A hand rested on his back, gently patting him. Startled, he turned his head to look. I found out it was me. He felt even more guilty. She collapsed into my arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Sorry, Xiaofan. I'm really useless. I should be a bit more careful. I gently patted her thin back. Fool, I can't even thank you in time. How could I blame you? Jiang Ruxue's eyes reddened. That's the only wife you can give to you. What virtue or ability do I have to have such a fiancé? There's something Lu Yingshuang says that I agree with. A man can only win with the help of women. Go back and rest. I'll find a way. Jiang Ruxue was silent for a long time. Nodded. Well, just do your best. No matter the outcome. I wouldn't blame you. With that, he left the Jiang residence. They headed toward Yunwu Mountain, which was rich in spiritual herbs in the suburbs. He couldn't bear to see me isolated and helpless. You still want to do your best to help me. At the same time, I also left the Jiang residence. Arriving at the suburban graveyard. The father and child are unfilial. I've come to see you. Kneeling before the grave. Many joss paper and candles were burned. In my mind, recalling the years spent with my father. My father was silent and reserved. He likes to drink. When drunk, he pointed to the sky and cursed angrily. It seems like she's venting injustice. When awake, she looked at the moon and wept her face. Dad, I'm getting married. But not Jiang Ruoxi. It's the fragrance, like snow, that you prefer more. You once said she was more suitable to be my wife. He was gentle by nature. Calm and tranquil, understanding propriety. He laughed and laughed. Tears began to fall. If you were still alive, you'll definitely be laughing from ear to ear. When we got married, I will definitely bring her to see you. But the child ran into some trouble. You need to open the box you left behind. Sorry to disturb your peace. Please forgive me. He kowtowed repeatedly. He raised his hoe. Dig up the soil in front of the tombstone. He dug a full 3 feet deep. Finally, they dug up a black wooden box. I picked her up. His eyes showed astonishment. It had been buried underground for 3 years and still hadn't arrived. Snakes, insects, rats, and ants gnawed on them. It seems this wooden box itself is no ordinary item. Crack. The wooden box was opened. What came into view were 2 jade bottles. Inside, emerald green spiritual liquid lay quietly. Medium-grade refining liquid. I was overjoyed. I knew my father would definitely leave me cultivation resources. He quickly picked up the qi refining liquid. He found a letter and a bamboo slip underneath. Trembling, she opened the letter. Xiaofan, when you read this letter, my father had been dead for 3 years, right? Has your seed sprouted? Is it healthy? What does it look like now? Father really wanted to know. Unfortunately, it was no longer visible. 2 bottles of mid-grade qi refining liquid. It is left for you to break through your current realm. But most importantly, the bamboo slips he wrote were written for. His father was of average talent. Reflect on a lifetime. I only grasp a bit of Pishing. He only grasped the basics. He barely became a 2-star soul master. I hope my son can surpass being a father. Become a towering great soul master. This way, they have the means to protect themselves. In the end, this wooden box was left to you by your mother. He once said that after becoming a 5-star soul master, then the hidden layer of the wooden box could be opened. Failing to unlock the dark layer was his father's last legacy. If one day you open it, remember to burn paper and tell your father what was inside.
Keep going, me.
Your life will be full of twists and turns. Never give up, okay? Tears fell one by one onto the letter. I seemed to see my father say his final goodbye right in front of me. I will definitely strive to live. Definitely. After a long while, she wiped away her tears. Carefully put away the letter. It turned out her father had once been a 2-star soul master. Soul masters are the most prestigious profession in this world. None other than this. They possess soul power beyond ordinary people. Perform all sorts of mysterious soul powers. It can also refine elixirs used by martial artists. The Qin family of Guizhou City. The reason they became the #1 alchemy family. Because every generation of family heads knows how to do it. Inheritance 1, a family heirloom that can temporarily enhance soul power. The upgraded level was roughly equivalent to a soul master apprentice. Even so, it also allowed the Qin family to dominate the entire Guizhou City. I opened the bamboo slip. Above it were strange, twisted text. The more I watched, the dizzier I felt. Tai Soul Technique, Part 1 notes the author as an 8-star soul master. The Great Venerable of Freedom. Only those with strong souls can distinguish words. Fools observe the moon. Mild headaches can be severe. At worst, the soul is destroyed. Practice with caution. I can discern destruction. Practice with caution. I can discern. It shows that the soul is above ordinary people. Qualified to become a soul master. Sat cross-legged before the grave. Quietly digest what you see. In just half a day, his eyes opened.
Dad.
I seem to have learned some ways to use the soul. He drank a bottle of mid-grade qi refining. He drank another bottle and stuffed it into his bosom. Soon after, his body trembled. Broke through to the 3rd level of qi refining. Fill in the pit in front of the grave. Father bowed at the tombstone. He then rose and returned to the city. But I did not return to the Jiang family. Instead, he arrived at a struggling treasure pavilion. Treasure pavilion. It was the shop of the Chun family, the 2nd largest alchemist family in Guizhou City. The Chun family doesn't have an heirloom like the Qin families. They could only refine crude medicines. Their business was far inferior to that of the Qin family. I changed into a loose, thick black robe. Wearing a mask, he walked into the shop. I took out a mid-grade refining weapon from my arms. Also placed on the counter. The shopkeeper swept his gaze over. At first, he was slightly stunned. He immediately jumped up from the armchair. He hurried over and exclaimed. Could this be a mid-grade refining liquid? 10 years later, I actually saw mid-grade refining liquid again. Quick, serve tea to this gentleman. The best tea. I waved my hand expressionlessly. Tea is unnecessary. I would like to exchange the following materials. How much can your store give? Pick up the pen on the counter. Write down materials about the forging industry. The shopkeeper grew even more excited. Her straightened body involuntarily bent down. Could you be a soul master? I shot him a cold look. The shopkeeper was startled. He quickly snuffed his own mouth. Petty people gossip too much. Please forgive me, sir. Enough nonsense. How much can it be exchanged for?
Pom.
Please forgive me, sir. Enough nonsense. How much can it be exchanged for? The shopkeeper quickly replied that it would be at market price. A bottle of mid-grade refining liquid costs 10,000 taels of silver. 1,000 taels of refining liquid materials. 1 serving can be exchanged for 10 servings. However, if you have more refining liquids to sell us, I can make the decisions. Here are 11 servings for you. After a brief thought, I nodded in agreement. The shopkeeper was overjoyed. Take 11 sets of ingredients. This poem is not hidden from you, sir. Tomorrow is the exhibition of the alchemist families in Guizhou City. If you have any extra artifact refining skills, can you sell it to us at the conference? It will make my Qin family proud. I nodded slightly. Xuanji left the treasure pavilion. Make sure no one is following you. So, I found an alley. Remove the camouflage. Calmly walking back to the street. He had only taken a few steps. Suddenly, a cold laugh rang out. Who is this? Lu Zhen's face was full of warmth. Qin Chongsheng rode alongside him. Notice me and tighten the reins. Lu Zhen glanced at the treasure pavilion not far away. Shen Xiao said, Master Qin has that person daydreaming. If you want to buy low-grade refining liquid. Qin Chongsheng remained indifferent. In Lone Boat City, aside from my Qin family, there won't be refining liquid anywhere else. You are seeking the treasure pavilion for artifact refining liquid. I'm afraid I'm looking in the wrong place. Lu Zhen learned in detail and begged me to give him the qi refining liquid. You'd be better off begging me to let his fiancée go.
Ha ha ha.
Dama laughed heartily and left. Qin Chongsheng looked down on the Dao qi refining liquid, so forget about it. I, Qin Chongsheng, am in a single day. You'll never get an arm in your lifetime. I shrugged. Not even a dog would want low-grade qi refining liquid. Before long,